Hey, Alicia. Yeah, good job on your changes. Let's see what you have here. Your caricature looks pretty good. Um, the first thing I would suggest is don't have your name right up there. I'm going to turn it off just because it's really interfering with the design. So you really, if you're going to put your name at all, it should be tiny, tiny in the bottom, but I wouldn't even put it in there for now. So I'm going to put, again, watch, be sure to do masks for all these objects. So you don't want to lose points, easy points like that. So just remember to always do everything in a layer mask. So let's see here. So what I would suggest first of all is, I know I said to have more sky, but the idea with the sky, let me see if you can move it up at all. The thing with having too much sky though, that this is very saturated blue, and it really competes with the caricature. Now watch some of your masking. You might want to go back. This is one reason why we use the layer masks. As you can see, the sky is showing through. Where's your mushroom? Dun, 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 right there. Yeah, so that's the cool thing about layer masks is now you can go right back into your mask and make these white, because you don't want to, I think you just went too far with whatever tool you were using, the magic wand or whatever. You do have some mask fragments too. You can see when I turn it off. Let me see which one it is. Dun, 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 Anyway, there are these little lines, and they're like the ends of one of your masks, or several. So you can see it down here too. So you might want to, oh, there it goes. It looks like it's from the shadow. So make sure to take care of that. So this is a little on the big side. I know I mentioned the perspective thing, but again, you don't want to overkill it. So I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. And this is your design, obviously. And my goals are just that you have a strong portfolio piece. And in terms of the assignment, it is giving the client what they want, right? I'm just going to move it down a little bit. And also creating a strong portfolio piece, because you're spending all this time on this. So that's even a little bit big. You might want to move the other one down. Well, yeah, I think it's still too big. It's anyway, so I'll let you tinker with this. I just wanted to get it to a point where it's kind of looks more reasonable. So in terms of the background, I looked online for some backgrounds, and my suggestion, just in terms of having something look unified, is not a really straight horizon line. So I kind of looked at some of these backgrounds, and you put keywords in, right? So I put wallpaper grass hills, but you really want to get something that's not very saturated and doesn't have much, you don't want too many clouds, you don't want too much of anything. You want, and that's why you visually look to see how would my caricature really stand out in these backgrounds. And this is wallpaper. You can also use background. There's so many different things you can use to get the, to find images. And it does take quite a bit of time doing research, right? It's not, this is kind of a nice one, because look at the sky isn't so bright and saturated like the one in yours. So see how bright yours is? So this will, something like this will allow the, excuse me, the caricature to stand out more. Even this will. Maybe not that part, but this part of it. So anyway, okay, so I just put this background in just to show you the differences of, and what I mean by less saturation. See how this is less blue? So again, turning yours on, the green and the green leaf and the blue are very similar values. So it's just becoming a little bit too strong. So if you get something that's lighter, lighter background, I don't like that tree. I'd probably see if I can move, I'd move it over. I would get something like simple like that. You could have the tree in there if it was smaller in the background, or if your caricature covered it. But you wouldn't want a tree here, because it just competes with the caricature. So something like, let's say something like that. So let me try just making it bigger, and I'm just trying to show you what I'm talking about, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean by a background that isn't so strong. So yeah, I'd probably get rid of the tree altogether if I used a background like this, but I'm not. I'm just trying to show you though. So, and then I think the caricature could be larger, and I'm not saying this background either, because to be honest, I think it needs a little bit more of the grass part, something like maybe like this, or. But in terms of the caricature, I would make it a little bit larger. Just because, again, you really want this to be about the caricature, not about all this other stuff like the type. I would work on the cast shadow. I would follow those directions and add the gradient to it. Let me see if I can find that part. Again, this is the one. See how it has the gradient in the shadow? It really does work a little bit better with it. So, I mean, I'm not saying to use this background, but I'm just trying to kind of show you that, you know, and even if you put it down here, it does it stands out more than the bright. Do you see that? I'm just hoping you do see that. You can also clone out the tree. We're going to be doing that next week. And I'm not super happy with this particular background, but let me see if I can rotate it. Oh no, that's still your caricature. It's going to look wonky, but I'm just trying to get it to, you know, like at a certain angle that, you know, even like that would be okay. But ideally something that had a little bit more grass, but not, you know, probably up to here, but not halfway through. And what the curved does for the background is it just makes it more interesting. A straight across line, and that's why I put hills in. This would probably work. A straight across line that's just horizontal is kind of cuts everything in half, and it kind of doesn't really work. So I'm actually going to turn, I'll put yours back on. And there's other things you can do even with yours. You could try, you know, using the levels and making it darker or lighter, even though this should really come up about, you know, higher. But you can go in and, you know, use the levels, or you can, and also use hue and saturation. I would desaturate it. Oh, I hate when it does that. But if you desaturate the color too, you can even see that much. Even desaturating it allows your caricature to come out. And you can make it lighter or darker depending on what your caricature looks like. You know, darker even could work, but the shadow would have to be adjusted. So there's just some tools that you can use to, play with this and to really make it stand out. I think the saturation, the lighter, the less saturation is going to help. The same reason why this leaf doesn't really stand out on the blue is the same reason why the green text, I mean, it's readable, but it could be more readable. So there's ways to do that too. I discouraged people against the bevel and emboss. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't look that good. But another thing that you can't, and the drop shadow doesn't do much either, but you might want to go in and look at adding something like an outer glow in a light color, right? Because you need to get more contrast. And if you're using a dark background, so this is the outer glow, but it's in white. So I'm just going to play with it. Even something like that makes it stand out. I think the text could be bigger, but I don't like that one either. The text is definitely hard to read, so you might want to work a little bit more with it. I think if it was, it's just, they're all so close together. I mean, the garden and the grace is okay, but this glitter is not that legible. But there's things you can do with the, there's other kinds of glows you can add. You can add a stroke. I mean, even see how much more that stands out, just white text, than the green. You might want to try something like that, and then you could add a different color outer glow if you wanted to. Let's say you wanted to add a little bit of a red. Red and blue don't really look too good together, so maybe something, let's just look at a yellow. And again, you have to make it bigger so it stands out, right? See, you'd have to make it really small. See, this is just hard to read. I would definitely turn this one off. So anyway, just a little bit of feedback. And again, be sure to keep working on the masks. They all need pretty much cleaning up, which is fine. I mean, that's normal. And be sure to go back in and fix this. And these, these need some cleaning up as well. This is a really hard form. It just really is. I think that, that person who I keep showing you the images of her, I mean, she got a pretty dense one, but even if you look, it was hard for her to clean all this stuff up. But again, see the negative space of this background? It's very plain. And it's darker because her caricature is lighter. So you always want to look for contrast. So at this point, it's all just adding and subtracting, and this is pretty normal for what you do in a design studio because we have a couple weeks left. So again, you might want to look for different backgrounds that are simple. You could look for kind of a background that's that's more like a yellowy grass. I think I have one. Well, I mean, here's another one. She curved this. I don't think that looks good, but I think that, it does allow the caricature to stand out. Even something like this that's not, that's not all green, that competes. But again, this is a little bit too busy in the background. Again, the best backgrounds are the very simple ones. So anyway, I'm going on too long, but I hope you found this feedback useful. And I would probably still continue to play. Is that leaf? Yeah, so you don't have a mask on that. And where's the stem? I'm going to put this here. I mean, continue to still work on rotating these and, just seeing what you can do with them. Because you just still want to give it a, you want to give it a personality, but you don't necessarily, I don't know. You just want to keep working with it. Okay, so yeah, that's enough. I'm babbling on too long. I'm just trying to think of ways to still make because the caricature is really cool. It just needs some work on the background and the text to really allow this to stand out, and your masks need the work. So, okay.